I wake up every morning believing today is going to be better than yesterday. Will Smith and all of his success, when you're trying to figure out what do the most successful people have in common, it is their optimism, their drive, and their actions that they're willing to take. To wake up each day knowing that it's going to be better than the day before, this allows you to be able to break any sort of bad cycles that you're on where it's like, look, yesterday was my day, but I'm not going to let that drive into today. I'm not going to let that impact how I think about the day, the actions that I take today. Most of the time, then, when we are procrastinating and we're doubting ourselves, it has to do with a fear that we have about the future. Where does that fear come from? It either comes from actions that we have taken in the past that have led to failure, or it has to do with things that other people have said to us in the past, and again, it is driving the fear that we have. By Will Smith being able to say each day, I expect it to be better than the day before, that also helps him when the previous day was a good day. Because there are people who have good days and they're waiting for the other shoe to drop, or they think that, right, that they got lucky or something like that, that they can't control, and there's no way that they can replicate the success that they had. But the truth is, if you expect each day to be better than the day before, this allows you to wake up just feeling very good about your life, grateful about the opportunities that you have this day, understanding that if your goal is to become a millionaire, to create millionaire opportunities, you have to be expecting them. You have to be driving towards them. And if you don't believe they're possible, well, then there's no reason for you to take any actions that are aligned with it. All of your actions match what your beliefs are. If you believe that something good is going to happen, then you're going to take action. If you believe that things are going to fail, then it becomes very difficult to take action. So you want to make sure that you understand that optimism is the key to success. Number two is being realistic is the most commonly traveled road to mediocrity. There are things that we tell ourselves that are filling the doubt and the fears that we have, but they're wrapped in what I call the blanket of realism, where we're like, no, it is common to expect failure. It's not everyone that gets to become a professional athlete. It's not everyone who gets to create a successful company. It's not everyone who is going to be that first generation college graduate. Whatever it is in your life, there are statistics that say that this is not going to happen. Unfortunately, it's not that it is impossible or even that it's unlikely. It's just that the majority of people don't try. You have to have, as I mentioned before, you have to have a genuine belief that you're able to take your life by the horns and kind of guide it in a certain way, understanding that everything that you want to happen isn't going to happen, but that doesn't mean that you can't make a decision from that point that will then allow you another opportunity and another opportunity until you get the results that you want. Don't allow yourself to fall into that trap where you are setting realistic expectations, where you feel uncomfortable sharing the goals and the dreams that you have because everyone else is picking a much lower number. They have more realistic expectations where people will doubt your number or they doubt your expectations and your goals, where they're going to say that doesn't make any sense. That's not going to happen. Things don't work that way. But they can. Again, you find that the way things are is little to do with how likely or unlikely it is to succeed. It has to do with the abilities that we have to keep going, to keep getting up. And you want to make sure that if your goal is to be successful, that you're going to have to push yourself in times where things don't feel that good. And it makes every logical sense in the world to give up. But I don't want to allow you, I don't want you to fall into that trap. Instead of giving up and falling into that mediocrity, make adjustments. Make decisions that you're like, okay, well, that didn't work. What did I learn from that? And how can I make a better decision now? Don't be afraid to make changes. Be afraid of regret because you gave up too soon. Number three is if you don't fight for what you want, don't cry for what you lost. Will Smith makes it very simple. There are going to be people who make statements that are not aligned with the actions that they take, right? You cannot complain about the government if you have taken no actions to correct it, if you have not volunteered or joined some grassroots organization, or even if you interacted anyway in like a town hall or just any part of the political system. If you have not engaged in that, then who are you to complain about the way that things are? If you want to change your life, if you want to change the way that people are treated in a certain industry or position or culture, then you have to be the change that you're looking for. You have to be willing to put your neck out there and say, this is what I believe in, and whatever happens after that is what happens after that. As you guys already know, my commitment is to making sure that black wealth does not hit zero in the year 2053. I am fighting that cause every single day, and I invite anyone who's excited about joining that cause to do so. Engage with me, talk with me, but it's very important to understand that I can't be walking around in 2053 complaining about racism and the system and different issues that are going on if I've taken no effort over these decades to fix this problem. So you have to look at whatever your passion project is, whatever change you want to see in the world to make the world a better place. You have to ask yourself, what would someone who really wants to change the world this particular way, what would they do with their time? What kind of things would they do? And it's not that you have to mirror exactly what someone says or what they're doing, but you really have to start engaging in the system to figure out, how can I overcome the obstacles that we're facing? How can I create solutions to the challenges? How can I help the next generation and the people that I know and love so that they can have a better lifestyle? Again, you cannot complain about what you lost if you're not willing to fight to get it. You can't be worried about what people are going to say if you haven't taken the steps to even express your genuine self. You want to make sure that if you're trying to change the world, if you're trying to be successful, you have to be willing to put your money where your mouth is, and that includes your time, and that includes your name, your reputation, where you have to put yourself out there and allow people to judge you for the way that you believe the world should be. And it's okay that everybody's not going to agree with you. They will not. But that doesn't mean that what you're doing is wrong, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. Number four, you're going to find that happy, successful, and optimistic people, what they know about life is that they know the first step to getting results is to say, I can do this. We talked a little bit about the beliefs that you have to have, and we even talked a little bit about some of the losses that you're going to take. We even talked about the willingness that you have to do to put yourself out there. But none of this starts without you saying, I know that I can do this. You'll find that among the most successful in any variety, in any time in history, they believe that they could do it. And you find that even though you're facing insurmountable odds by most people's standards, if you don't believe that you can do it, then there's no reason for you to even try. You cannot go out there just to say that I did it, because you'll know deep down that you didn't really give it your all. You have to genuinely believe that you can get the result that you're trying to get. And you'll know when you believe it, because when people tell you that you're crazy, when people say it hasn't worked yet, you failed, you need to make changes, you're going to say, you know what? I haven't failed yet. I haven't really scratched the surface yet, because you know deep down that even though your first idea maybe didn't get the results you wanted as quickly as you wanted, it doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that now you have a little more information where you can make some changes. Like Will Smith talks about how he lost a lot of his money early on because he was young and he was dumb and he was spending it all over the place, and he had no idea that he had to pay taxes on it. And so he was just spending the money as the young kids would do. And then he found out that there was this huge tax bill and that he was broke. And he talks about how he had to kind of pick himself up because he knew that he could do it. Where most people may say, this is my failure, this isn't for me, he said, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do it again. And then he talks about even when he had the opportunity to first start acting, when he said, I want to, do movies. I want to really kind of make a name for myself. And he talks about how he found himself at this party, and then he was given the opportunity to like act out a particular part. And he said it wasn't like he knew everything that he needed to know about acting. It wasn't even that he was necessarily 100% sure that it was going to turn out well. But all he knew is that this was his opportunity and he was not going to let it go by. And he had the belief that I got to take this first step. And I believe that this opportunity, if ever given to me, that I would take advantage of it. Well, when he got the opportunity at the party, when he met the right people, he took advantage of it. And then he was able to kind of get his acting career started, where he was doing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he was able to progress his career into the movie star that he always knew that he could be. But it all starts with the belief that you know that you can do it. I mean, he even had turned down an MIT scholarship because he knew that he wanted to be a rapper, actor, performer, movie star. He knew that that's where he wanted to be, and he wanted to be one of the best ever at it. And number five, Will wanted to make sure each of us knew that the people who are happy, optimistic, and successful in life, they understand that greatness is a part of them, not something that they earn when they get there, that it was in them the whole time. Will says it's not like this godlike feature that only select few have. It's something that each of us have inside of us. It's just whether we choose to activate it, whether we choose to listen to it, whether we choose to risk the results that maybe start off a little rough, but it works in our favor if we keep going. Will Smith says that people who are happy, optimistic, and successful, they understand that they're going to have this inner drumbeat, this voice inside of them that is demanding greatness of them, that is giving them ideas, that is speaking to them throughout their day, and is like pounding this loud thump. And whether or not you take action off of that inner voice is what will define your greatness. It's not a question of if you're great, it's a question of do you believe it and will you take the action necessary. Greatness is not in the results, it's within the effort that you take each and every day. Because if you take the effort, the results are going to come. It may not come today, it may not come tomorrow, it may not come this year, but they will come. As long as you're willing to take the action and you stay optimistic. Optimistic is key to success because most people find lots of failure early in the process. The only way, and I do mean the only way you're going to keep going, is if you genuinely believe that I am going to make changes and adjustments and I'm going to figure this thing out. People who quit, they just don't believe they're ever going to figure it out. They just think that this isn't for me, this is for those other people. But Will Smith understands that it really is nothing different between him and the next person except his commitment to his greatness and his willingness to fail and to get up and to fail again. And if you talk to him, he would say it was never really big about talent. It was all about that grit, that willingness to do what it takes. And for you to create those opportunities in your life, for you to be able to live the life that you know that is meant for you, then you got to take the risk. You got to be willing to fail, and you got to be willing to take some action and put some skin in the game. If you enjoyed watching this video or listening to this audio, all I do is ask for you to subscribe. I do have a free resource available for you. If you go to forecasthope.com/opportunity, there you can download my Lifetime Millionaire Success Blueprint. In it, you'll be able to discover how to create $1 million in your own life or to capitalize on your next $1 million opportunity. Until next time, I'm Dre. Continue blessings on your journey to become the champion of your dream life. And as always, better self, better wealth.